Welcome. In front of me I have the Google Pixel 8 Pro, newly released, and today I'll go over unboxing along with a quick overview of this phone. So, let's just get straight into it. Now, I did grab a little knife right here for this, but it's Google, so we don't actually need it. You can just do this. There we go. Now, judging by the size of it, we can already see there is most likely no charger in the box. We got this nice blue color right here. It is actually a matte finish right here. It looks actually pretty nice. Not necessarily my kind of color, to be completely honest, but the finish of it actually looks premium. We still have the visor design right here. Let's just peel that off and boot it up. There we go. So while it's booting up, we can touch upon the content right here. So we do have a Type-C to Type-A plug right here. This is actually a pretty handy little tool. So what it allows you to do is, for instance, if you have something like a USB drive like this one, now this one does have a USB-C, but assuming you'd have one that doesn't, right? You can just pop it in here, connect it to your device, and voila, you're good to go. This is a really nice thing to have. So I really like that Google is still including that in the box by default, unlike the charger that they don't, but in any case, this is a nice inclusion. Now, below that, obviously, we have a cable, Type-C to Type-C, nothing really groundbreaking right here, and then thick, like that is thick, little booklet, it's super tiny, of instructions. Now, I'm pretty sure we all know how to use an Android device, so I'm just gonna put that back in and get rid of the box. Yoink, out of the way. So, starting off with the display, which would be nice if it would be in light mode, so I can actually showcase the display a little bit better. So I'm gonna go to a quick setup just so we can have a home screen visible, and I can change it to like light mode. Or maybe it's just gonna give me the option to do it in a second. But anyway, so the display right here is a 6.7 inch display, which you can see in a, oh, not yet. I guess let's go into the settings and display, dark theme, bye. There we go. So we can now actually see the bezels. So 6.7 inch display. It's rocking a resolution of, well, very weird one. So it's a 1344 by 2992 pixels. It's basically a 1440p resolution, but just kind of like a wonky little offset of it. So, with that being said, it is also a OLED display running at 120 Hz refresh rate and comes with HDR 10 plus certification, a peak brightness of 2400 nits, which is just stupid bright. I'm pretty sure even brighter than Apple at this point. Apple had like 2000 nits, this is 2400 now, so yeah, they're really pushing the brightness. Soon enough, you should be able to view the display on the surface of the sun. And moving on, the screen to body ratio is at about 87%, and the pixels per inch with this resolution puts it at 400 and about 90 pixels per inch. So that's basically the screen. Now, to explain this in simpler terms for people that don't really know what I just said, all this kind of like spec technical mumbo jumbo, the display right here obviously is really good. The most important parts of this will be the brightness, obviously, that will affect a lot of people, especially when it comes down to viewing the display outdoors, specifically like during the summer when it's like really bright outside. This will allow you to easily view the display at 2400 nits, that is really bright. And the 120 Hz refresh rate will just mean that everything that you do on the display looks nice, battery smooth, which obviously on the camera you will not actually see to the fullest extent, just because my camera is recording only at half of that. So everything above it gets kind of lost. So yeah, moving on. We can move over to the internals of the device, and I'm gonna start off with the battery size. So right here we have a little over 5000 mAh battery, putting it at 5050 apparently. It's also able to charge at 30 watts wired, power delivery 3.0, and based on advertising, it will get your device to 50% in 30 minutes. We also have a 23 wireless charging right here built in, so if you have a wireless charger, you can just do that. And at this point, the wireless charging and wired one is very close together, so for a lot of people it might be more beneficial just to utilize the wireless charger. If you're planning to do so, I highly recommend getting the the MagSafe options. They're designed for Apple, but you can find cases for like Pixels as an example, which will come with this like MagSafe ring, and then you can utilize the wireless chargers as an example, designed for iPhones, but it's the same technology, and you can easily just like slap it on something and quickly charge it. It's a really nice thing to utilize. Highly recommend it. And moving on, but sticking with the internals, we have a built-in storage of 128 gigabytes of RAM with 12 gigs, 128 gigabytes of storage, 12 gigs of RAM, that's what I meant to say. At the very base, this is like the lowest end, but you can spec it up to a 1 terabyte of storage still with 12 gigs of RAM. So obviously between that you have also 256 and 512 gigs of storage. Now, whichever one you want to go for, then I would recommend just going a little bit higher. If you think you need 128 gigs, go for the 256. Obviously, applications and all that stuff is taking more and more space, so it's better to be, future-proofing rather than just kind of trying to save like, I don't know, 50 bucks on a device. You're already buying a premium device, you might as well just buy the higher storage just so you won't need to like deal with some stupid crap like transferring data over, just so you can free up some space on your storage. And 128 gigabytes of storage is quite low for current time, so you might run out of it relatively quickly. Now, obviously there is no expandable storage, I presume actually, but I'm gonna check it just in case. Wait, there we go. Oh, I'm not gonna use this one because it's too thick. Grab thinner one. There we go. So you can see no expandable storage. It just takes a single SIM card and that's it. So like I said, if you need more than 128 gigabyte storage, or you think you will need just that, go for the higher one. It will be a better option. Now, continuing with the specs right here, this device is being powered by a Google Tensor G3 processor, and this is the processor, if I'm correct, there was a collab between Samsung, so it is in reality a Exynos processor that has been just kind of added some Google like AI cores and stuff like that, if I'm correct. So it's a good processor. It is I would consider a flagship grade processor. It's just not as good as, for instance, Snapdragon is. But you buy Pixel not really for the raw power that it provides, but for the operating system that it comes with and the little Google touches that they keep only for the Pixels. And obviously you get all of that here. Now, moving on to another part of the device, which is probably one of the reasons most people will buy this device. It's the cameras, and right here we have this massive visor. It's still pretty chunky. It still basically allows you to almost grab the device like so. Enough for rock climbers to use this as a genuine like area to grab onto. So here we have what looks to be a quad, I would say, camera setup, but I don't think this is a camera. I think one of those is a sensor. I haven't looked into it, so let's see. We have a 50 megapixel wide sensor, f1.7 25mm lens with multi-directional PDAF and multi-zone laser autofocus and optical image stabilization. Then we got a 48 megapixel f2.8 113mm telephoto lens. Again, most of the mumbo jumbo for optical image stabilization and just image stabilization is still here, but we also have a 5x optical zoom. Then below that, at least on the paper below, it's kind of all to the side, we have a 48 megapixel f2.2 126 degree ultra wide lens with dual pixel PDAF, and trying to find what the last thing is, because we do have something right here which I'm trying to figure out what that is, but it doesn't really show me anything about it. So yeah. Interesting. Anyway, I guess I'm just gonna glance over that and ignore its existence because I can't really find what that is. Now, with that being said, let's stick to the cameras and like how they can record. So we're looking at a 4K recording at 60 frames maximum. That's the highest it can go. You can obviously do 30, 1080p, 24, 30, 60, and slow motion of 120, 240, and all that stuff. Now, at the front, we have a single camera setup, or single lens, and that is a 10.5 megapixel f2.2 20mm ultra wide lens, which also allows you to record at 4K 60 frames, and basically everything that I mentioned before, minus the slow motion. So there we go. Those are the cameras. Now, with that being said, the last thing that I'm going to go over is just the feel and the build quality of this device. So we have what looks to be an aluminum frame, which, let's see, yep, it's an aluminum frame. We have a glass front, obviously glass back as well at the back. This is the blue version. We have other colors as well. For instance, there is, this is the 8, but you have this little more like grayish color right here. And let's see, what other colors do they have? So in terms of naming, oh boy, those are always fun. So we have obsidian, porcelain, and the bay. No way, that's what they're calling it. Let's see. So I'm looking what the naming scheme right here is, if I can actually find it. Where the heck would it be? Is there anything at the back? Oh, there we go. Yep, so I thought correctly. This is the bay color. Gosh, these are some bad naming. I'm pretty sure Google had one of those naming schemes at one point where they were just calling it, for instance, like just white, clearly black, or stuff like that. I wish they would go back to this one. It was a nice job, but this literal shit of naming colors like bay, it's not really a color, I would argue, but whatever. So this is the bay color. Great. Anyway, so that's basically it. Not much more to say. It's another flagship device, and this time around Google decided to not give you a nice pass on the price tag like they did with the previous version of it. So these ones are coming closer to like $1,000 rather than the previous ones where they were about, I think, $800 if I remember correctly. So yeah, they're more expensive. Not much has changed, to be completely honest, and it's just again, another year, another Pixel, just like another Samsung and another iPhone and another, basically every big brand. So yeah, not much has changed. If you have a Pixel, previous Pixel 7 for instance Pro, I see very little reason to upgrade it to this one. But that being said, there is one benefit. I don't exactly remember the exact years that they have, but Pixel did promise, I think it was 6 years of software updates. So you will be basically set for like 6 new Androids. I don't remember if it was exactly 6 years or more or less. So forgive me. I could be. There's a very high chance I am a little bit off with the years. But it's a very important thing. Most devices provide you with like what, I think 3 years of updates. So this obviously goes way ahead of it. But let's be also honest here. It's Google, and Google tends to drop these kind of things quite quickly and quite frequently. You do have a lot of dead projects, dead promises that Google has made previously. And yeah, you basically buy into their crap and then get shafted by Google, and there's nothing you can really do. So if you're strictly going for this device because of the future software updates for like massively long time, like 6 years or 7 years or whatever it is, then just keep in mind it could be less, because Google might decide that it's not viable for them to give you that many software updates into the future because it doesn't incentivize you to buy a new phone. So something to keep in mind. Though I do also want to be honest, this like Pixel I think is one of the Google's like better selling products compared to like their little home Google Homes or whatever they're calling it. So I think they will still stick with that promise, just because if they don't, this is another like product that they have that will just kind of end up a little bit dead. So I think with the software updates they will keep their promise here, though like I said, don't quote me on that if you're watching this video like 5 years into the future and Google dropped it. Anyway, that being said, it's still a very good device, and it's basically everything that you'd expect from a Pixel. So with that being said, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.